So what we will do, we will create a new project first of all. So we will create a new Java project for exception handling. I'll give it a name as exception. Do not create a project or class as exception because it is already an inbuilt class. So we will create it as exception demo. Next and finish. Don't create. Okay, so our exception demo project is ready. Now inside this, first we will create a class. I'll give the package name as com. Class name, let's say exception demo 1. Do not give the class name as exception. It is already inbuilt class. And whenever you are giving class names, please follow camel case. Whenever you are giving project name, camel case. Coding conventions has to be followed properly when you are writing the code. Okay, now here we will write some code. Let's say integer a is equal to 10 and integer b is equal to 2. Okay, now I will take integer c is equal to a divided by b. Very simple code. I will print c here. What will happen right now? It will give me output as 5 because we can divide a by b, not a problem. Okay, now let me write here one more line. Let's say this is after exception. Okay, so if I'm getting this code like after exception, that means everything is fine, proper in my code. So let me execute it once again. So right now everything is fine, proper. Now suppose by mistake I'm doing some syntactical mistake. Okay, and instead of 2 here I'm giving 0. What will happen now? Okay, now if I execute, immediately I will get arithmetic exception, divide by 0. Because when you will divide by 0, the result will be infinite and there is nothing to, show infinite in Java. So that's why immediately you will get java.lang.arithmetic exception. Now if you see, when you are getting this output, arithmetic exception, you are not getting this line after exception. Because what will happen? Immediately see exception demo.main exception demo.java 9 means at 9th line you are getting the exception here only when you are trying to divide and your code is break. Your code is not reaching till here and here. So you are not getting output printed and you are not getting after exception also. And it is a runtime exception. Okay, arithmetic exception is a runtime exception. So what we will have to do to overcome this problem? We will have to handle this exception. Okay, so for handling the exception, we have try and catch block. So what you will do? See, wherever you think that there's a logical part of code and you think you might get an exception there. Okay, so what you will do, you will put that code inside try catch block. Okay, so that if in case exception is coming, please handle the exception and do not break the entire code. Okay, so let's say exception e and then print e. Whatever exception is coming, you can print. Or you can print some of your own custom message also. Let's say this is arithmetic exception and after that you print the exception. Okay, now C will become unreachable because C is going, this int C is declared inside the try block. Okay, so now we will execute this code and we will see what is happening. Okay, and if you can see now also you are getting the exception. You are getting a custom message like this is arithmetic exception, and after that java.lang.arithmetic exception divide by 0. But after that you are getting the message as after exception. That means the exception is coming, but it is getting handled, and after that you are getting your output. Okay, that means if after this exception there is, let's say, more 100 lines of code here, so at least your code will not break here. Okay, that another 100 lines of code will execute even though this exception is there. This is what is the purpose of exception handling. Okay, so that if you see, we cannot avoid the situation that we will not get the exception at all. No, obviously we are writing some logical code, so there is a possibility that we might get some exceptions. So what we are supposed to do, whatever chunk of code where we think we might get exception, that we will put in a try catch block, and after that whatever code is there, that we will write, so that whenever exception is coming, it will get handled here, and after that the rest of the code will execute fine. So that is what is